You are welcome. We are going to draw this particular figure, a solid figure we are seeing here in isometric. And what we all need to know is that isometric drawing is a pictorial type of drawing where slant lines of a given figure lie at 30 degrees on the baseline. And now we have to involve the full measurements of all the lengths. Now you realize in this figure of ours that we are having, we have not drawn anything to scale. It's just a matter of sketching. But now we have to put it into scale and also to draw it in isometric, taking x as the lowest point. So this point x is the one we are going to take as the lowest point, and now having it at the lowest point, it means it should be the one that will be on the front part and should be the one starting that will act as a starting point on the baseline. So let's proceed. The first thing we shall do is first of all to draw our baseline from which we can develop our given figure. So from here we can have our baseline. Now we are going to start drawing our figure from here, and we are taking this as point x. So because we have said isometric will involve what you call isometric lines, it means we are going to draw isometric lines which are 30 degrees using our 30 degree set square. So we can bring our horizontal edge, and at that point we have the first line, first isometric line starting at x. That one becomes our first isometric line. This is angle 30. Then we have the second isometric line on this other side. We align the horizontal. Then we bring our set square. And still put it here this way. So that is the second isometric line. Once we have the two isometric lines, we can now measure all these lengths and mark off on the slanting line. So the first one is 50 and the second one is 80, because this one is a line that is going to be put or to be represented on this isometric line, and this line here will be put on this other line. So using your compass, you can just measure your 80 millimeter, that is 8 centimeter. Then we come and mark it here. Then we measure our 50. Once we measure our 50, we come and mark it here. Now once we have that, we can now draw our vertical. We can draw a vertical at that point. Point x. That is point x. That's a vertical. Now, as we have seen, this line here, it is where we are going to have this. Now this one here is 50, because this is 50, 50, 50. The height is 50, so we transfer 50 again on that line. So it means we are going to measure again 50. Then we come and put it here. That is 50. So once you have that, because we are saying we are using isometric lines, we are going to complete this other line using a 60-degree line. So you bring it here, then you complete this other line. So you draw it. Now once you draw that, you again complete this other line. Again complete this. So you'll have to complete this again. Now you get this other corner. So as you can see on this, we have now drawn this face which is here, and we now want to draw this other face that is appearing like letter U. So we can now have a vertical here. So we bring that vertical again. Once we have that vertical, we can have this other line. Because it's 60 degrees, we still have to draw it. It's 60 degrees, not 60, sorry, it is 30. It's an isometric line, you just draw it. It's like we are drawing a cuboid. Once we draw that cuboid, we can cut out this groove. Once we have drawn the whole cuboid minus the groove, we can now cut it out so that now we have it more clear. Next, we complete still using your set square and your 30-degree line or isometric line. You bring this line here again. And then lastly, you have to complete the cuboid by from here, drawing a line from here to meet that line. So again, use your set square. And now this one will have to complete from here. So this is a complete cuboid. We are having construction lines. Then once we have that, we are going now to cut it out. Now cutting it out, as you can see, this is 20, meaning from here to here is 20. And then because this is 20, this is 20, it means from here to here plus from here to here plus from here to here equals to 80. So 80 minus 20 minus 20 gives us 40. So we are going to measure 20, 20 on this other side. You can still use your compass. Then you take your 20. Once you have your 20, you can just come with it and make a mark here. And then also come here, make a mark. So once you have that, we are going to draw lines 30 degrees. The isometric lines as well, 30 degrees. From here, that line, it continues. Again, from this other side, we draw another line. It completes. From there, we now want to draw the verticals. And from these verticals, we can see it's not given. Okay, it's given as 20. So we are going to have 20 here on the vertical to complete the cutout. So we draw a vertical at this point. That vertical doesn't necessarily have to go far. Can just drop a little bit. Then we have another vertical here. So on those verticals, we can now measure our 20. So you can just have this measured here as 20. Then again, this one gives us another 20. Using your set square, you can complete because they are isometric, so we just complete those lines. Now because now we want to have our full drawing, we can now involve the use of the HP pencil, so that now we complete the whole drawing, assuming we have done the constructions. So we can have now outlines giving us the whole drawing. Then we can now complete this other side again. Then on this other side, so we are completing the whole drawing. Because we did use the drawings, we can still just use edges. We just combine or join the lines together to form a complete drawing. We don't have now to use horizontal edges because the construction is already done. Just join them freely. So we continue joining. Continue joining. Continue joining. So whatever we are joining are lines that are going to be visible to any viewer. That is called visible lines. These are going to be visible lines. There are outlines actually. Just complete the drawing. Just continue joining the lines. Now once you are there, you realize that it is still incomplete in a way that you have this line that should come from here. It meets the vertical, so you can still use your set square to complete those two lines. So you'll have the first line from here, from the vertical corner, the corner up there. Then you draw it vertically downwards. Of course, we shall have another one from this corner, 30-degree line. It meets it somewhere there. Then, because we have this line, another line should come from here meeting this, and it's still 30. So we have to use your set square again. Complete that line, which is 30. Because now we are just going to complete using your HP pencil. So you complete this because it's visible, and lastly we complete this other one. So that is how we can draw this specific figure or solid figure in isometric. You only need to have your lowest pointer sets, then you have 30-degree lines, the isometric lines, then you draw a whole cuboid assuming there is no cutting, then from there you can now cut it out. So this one can be dimensioned according to the measurements that has been given on the question. Thank you for watching, and I would encourage you to subscribe to my channel for any new content that will be uploaded.